Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu. And if you are tuning in the day this episode is scheduled to go live, it is a Friday. And now the third Friday in a row where I have had a guest on to share some tips and insights that focus more on your mental health and spiritual health versus your physical health. Of course, your mental health is greatly tied into your physical health, so we will see the connection there. But just wanted to mention that this has been a little bit of a theme on Fridays, and if you would like to go back and get some more tips, episode 120 was Overcoming Overwhelm with Susie Carroll, and last week, episode 125 was How to Find Your Core Values and Why They Matter with Danielle Reed. Continuing this trend of a focus on our mental health and spiritual health, with me today is guest Tara Leduc, who is a certified international ambassador for peace, an everyday mystic, and a stepmom in the suburbs. She teaches busy women how to find and create peace right where they are in the midst of their full lives. Tara, welcome to the Fit 15. I'm so excited and honored to have you as my guest today.
Well, Catherine, thank you so much for having me on. I am delighted to be here and delighted to speak with you and your audience today about finding spiritual fitness in your life.
I love that. Yeah, I'm very relaxed now because you just did this great meditation to lead us into our conversation, which is, talking about the benefits tuning into our spiritual fitness and working on and actually having meditation be a part of our lives. So I find, I've just experienced that for myself. So thank you for that. It was a great way to get us started. And we haven't done this yet, but spoiler alert for the listeners, you're going to help me record a meditation for them. So they'll get to experience that. So I don't know what will be in there, but I'm sure it will be equally helpful for them. And I'm really excited to share that with them. So anyways, I'm digressing, but so excited to have you here. And I guess one thing I will mention for people that maybe they haven't listened to the first episode, because now we're, lots of episodes into the show. But one thing I mentioned there, and I try to bring up from time to time, is that fitness is not just our physical fitness. It's, our spiritual fitness, our mental health, our social fitness, how we interact with others. So could you talk to us about that and how, why tapping into our spiritual fitness is important and the benefits of doing that, whether it's through meditation or other formats?
Okay. Well, I love that you've brought this up. So what I especially wanted to focus on today is spiritual fitness. And the thing is, we can get a little distracted and forget that we are body, mind, and spirit. So physical fitness is really about our body. And I'm sure many of you know that moving your body will really help you with your emotions, but also with a sense of processing stress and releasing the things that are getting you down and causing you drama and pain of all sorts, not just physical pain, but emotional pain. So I see meditation and mindfulness as a form of spiritual fitness, which this can be thought of as its own, air quotes, project or habit that you're trying to form in your life, but it also can be really assisting to all of your other goals and desires that you want to achieve in your life. I'm guessing, because I know Catherine and I both are definitely goal focused. I'm guessing that anyone who is listening has a tendency to strive and to want to challenge yourself and want to be the best that you can be. And I will tell you, and you don't have to believe me, but I would love for you to believe me enough to try it, that leaning into meditation and mindfulness counterintuitively will actually help you achieve your other goals.
I love that. And I believe it because I've seen it myself, whether it's I had to purposefully slow down because of maybe technology issues or just, other things happening and just kind of take a step back. So I'm getting better and better at it. I definitely have a long way to go, but I would say I'm a believer so far, Tara.
That's awesome. And okay, so this is a perfect thing to bring up. So I'm sure you have heard that meditation is a good thing, that we should all be more mindful, that we should all slow down. And you probably also heard your own inner voice say, and how the heck am I possibly going to do that? I have 800 bajillion things to do.
Right. Yep.
So I will give you an analogy that might help you understand. So you may have noticed that if you are training hard and you're leaning really hard into physical workouts, that you will work and work and work and get the gains and the improvements that feel so great. And then all of a sudden you're trying harder and harder and harder and you plateau, and or even worse, you get injured and you are forced to rest. And the amazing thing is your brain is probably afraid, or at least thinks, that you are going to lose all those hard-fought gains. And the amazing thing is when you start to get more sleep, working towards 8 hours or even more when you're doing big workouts, that's when the gains really start to come in, and it starts to feel, it's almost miraculous, but it's so completely opposite to what you think, right?
Yep. No, for sure.
And then, so what I'm going to say is that bringing a meditation and mindfulness practice into your life will counterintuitively bring more ease and flow and progress in your other areas of your life.
Hi friends, it's Catherine, and that little sound is a reminder for those of you who are going on an out and back walk and only have 15 minutes. We are 7.5 minutes into the episode, so you'll want to turn around now. All right, back to Tara.
So really what I think the true benefit of meditation and mindfulness is an awareness of what you want and how you feel. So you'll be going along and you'll be trying so hard in every aspect of your life. And when you can start to slow down and notice, how does it feel? How does my body feel? How does my heart feel? What are my emotions really doing? That's when you can start realizing, you know what? Perhaps that thing that I just agreed to do, I'm not agreeing to do it for me. I'm agreeing to do it because I feel obligated, because I feel guilty, because I thought I should want to do it. And perhaps that will give you an opening to start to say a clearer and conscious no, and no thank you to the extra things that you're taking on. So do you see how what I'm getting at is by slowing down, by being able to notice how you feel, you actually may be able to clear up your calendar a little bit and not have such a massive to-do list, because you've noticed some of the stuff is extra, and it's not for you, it's not for your family, it's not for the people most important to you. We can get sucked into needing to, or thinking that we have to keep up to everyone else, thinking that what everyone else seems to want is what we want as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
So, yeah, and it's, I certainly am not trying to suggest adding more stuff onto your to-do list, because I know how that feels. I this is what I do all day long. And the common saying is we teach what we need to learn. And, I am a chronic jammer packer of my schedule. My husband is constantly going like, what are you doing? And I will notice in my own self that as I get close to a deadline, maybe I'm getting ready for a trip or a project or a launch, I will start to stuff more and more and more and more and more, like really more things onto my to-do list. And I'll start getting those panic feelings of waking up at 2:00 in the morning going, oh crap, well, now that I'm awake, I should just do that 5-minute task that's on my to-do list.
Right.
Right? Like, no good comes out of that.
I've definitely been there.
Like, I'm not sitting over here as the Dalai Lama going, I've got it all figured out. You should do it just like me. I'm sitting here in the trenches. I'm a stepmom of 2 teenage girls. My husband is a physical guy who has a normal job, and I work from home. And so I'm completely self-driven in what I do. And then I have to deal with real life. Like, I am right here in the trenches with you, probably just a quarter step ahead that I've been working to bring these habits and practices into my life.
So what was your first step to actually make that part of your life? I mean, I know you've had probably a longer journey than we can really get to totally dive into, but just for people listening who are able to, because I feel that way with like my fitness journey.
Okay, well,
but yeah.
I'm going to say yoga was my gateway drug. It started with a move. I had my first engagement to a man to be married. He broke it off. And a while after that, a couple years after that, I realized I needed to move locations and find a new place to live. So I moved from a community that was very friendly and open and really aligned with my morals and values to a community that was in the oil patch and really driven and forward focused and money focused and sort of hard on the environment, which was not my personal tendency. So as a result, I happened into a yoga class, and it was the most yoga can you imagine. I've now been on the mat for 15 years, and I've never done classes like this. In 90 minutes, we would be like rocking it out if we got through 4 poses. I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
No, seriously. So it was the ultimate opposite to where I was living. But as a result, I mean, I didn't know yoga from yoga. I didn't know what it was supposed to look like or what it could look like. So I was in this class where we would barely move for 20 minutes at a time, and we would focus so deeply on our breath and on micro movements of our body, which may sound kind of aggravating to some of your listeners, but it was a very interesting way to step in and talk about being forced to notice how do you feel. And it just gives you a chance to just feel what is a complete breath feel like. Can you move your breath right to the bottom of your belly? So let's just rock forward 15 years. I've now done no other classes that were quite like that, but I've done lots of faster movement classes and lots of yoga, and getting into a deep, deep connection with your physical body allows your brain and your heart a different way to open up, and you can start really noticing thoughts and your emotions. And I'm also going to say it is not easy. There were plenty of times that I was frustrated, or I was annoyed, or I wanted to do anything other than what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And yet probably the pleaser side of me, the good girl that I was raised, like I would never get up and leave a yoga class.
Right.
Because I'm so unhappy, right? So I'm just going to stick it out. And sometimes that desire, that need to stick it out and be polite is exactly what it is that you needed to get through that difficulty of, I am not enjoying the emotions I'm experiencing right now. But ultimately, there is so much to be learned and to be gained from those crappier emotions, the ones that don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of gold down in that mud and that muck. We have a saying in yoga, no mud, no lotus. So if you don't go through the mud, if you don't spend some time sifting through the difficulties and the challenge and the stuff that doesn't feel pleasant, you don't get to grow that beautiful lotus flower and bloom to the best of your ability. Because really, we all want to shine. We all want to look like that beautiful, gorgeous, blooming flower and show up in our most graceful, gorgeous state.
I absolutely love that. And I've had similar experiences. My first time in yoga was because I had a running injury and I could really do nothing else. And it was just so hard. Well, I guess the second time I tried it once because a friend of mine who was also a fitness instructor encouraged me to take her class. And, I'm like, well, I guess I like to try other classes, but it was so hard because I was not used to doing that, and then didn't like it, not because of her, but just because of yoga being very challenging. And then the second time I kind of was, forced. I had nothing else I could do. I wanted to do something. But what I found was that the savasana at the end and having that meditation piece is what I started to crave more than just the physical aspect of it. And I think that's, really going into why it's so important, right? That we actually spend time in meditation and trying to slow down and
absolutely. It's funny. By now I am a yoga teacher after 15 years. I am a yoga teacher. And it's so funny that some people are like, I'm only here for the shavasana. I only want that relaxation at the end, and I can't get through everything to get to the good stuff. And other people are like, I just want to be here for all the movement, and I don't want all this mindfulness. I don't want you to remind me how I'm feeling. And when they get to shavasana at the end, they're like, yeah, okay, I'm done. I gotta go. I'm like, oh, well, they'll get there when they get there. And when you're ready, I am going to encourage anyone who's like, yeah, that's me. That's why I don't do yoga. I'm going to encourage you to give it a try. That as much as lying there, air quotes, doing nothing, for many people, that pause at the end is the most challenging pose. So if that helps your type A striver personality understand, then try that. Challenge yourself to lie still at the end. Because it is actually, in yoga, it is one of the most challenging poses to be able to sit and receive and accept and tolerate whatever is going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, because I often will think, I didn't even really put this together until we've been talking right now, but I'll think, I learned so much like life lessons from running and some of the challenging runs that I've had, but really, same can be said of yoga, and especially, like you said, sitting through that really challenging pose at the end that we might not want to sit in, especially if we like to be go, go, go. But I've had to try it a few times to actually appreciate it. But now, so I would encourage the people who are like how I was several years ago, just to keep, try it here or there, and one time it might click.
Yeah. Well, I even now when I get a new instructor, I'll always be like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like how she said that. I don't like, right?
Right.
And I set myself, I'm like, okay, pretty much anything I do, I have to try it 5 or 6 times before I can say, no, this is definitely not for me. Because those gremlins will be like, no, she didn't say that right. She didn't move her leg right. I didn't like how that felt. Blah, blah, blah.
Right. No, for
Like
sure.
I said, there's no judgment for me. I have been there going, I don't like it. I don't want to do this. My inner voice is pretty loud.
No, I love how you bring the practical side to it, right? It's not, none of us are perfect, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and yet I'm going to tell you, this is one of my biggest messages. And if you're listening right now, you are going to hear the best gold. You are already perfect in your imperfections.
I love that.
Striving lady, I see you, and you are already perfect. Yes, continue to bloom and grow and learn, and you are already perfect, even in your imperfections. Mic drop.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy. I mean, I feel like we could just chat forever, right? But we're like trying to be on a time limit today, I guess. I don't know who made that rule, but the good thing, because I could ask you more about tips for getting started, but listeners are going to have the honor of getting to have you lead us through a meditation, in our next episode. So I guess we'll have to leave that for them to enjoy. But do you want to share anything, Tara, about that before we close? And then also about how to connect with you so they can kind of follow up and get more goodness going?
Okay, so I love that we're going to do this more than once. And I am super excited for all of you to enjoy that meditation when it comes through. It's funny, I have now led enough meditations that I very rarely plan them. I just open myself up. Like I literally open my mouth and we'll see what comes out. And I have worked with my intuition a lot for probably 4 or 5 years. But like I said, on the yoga mat, I didn't know, but that's really what I was doing. So you're going to get that meditation, and I really hope you love it. And there are lots more. There are other meditations that you can download, and then you can keep them in your phone and use them anytime you want. So we will place that link in the bio, and you'll be able to know where to get that. And that's how you can connect with me and just get more and more peace in your life. This is really where we're going. Your life is busy. I know how it is. I see you in all your busyness and in all your beauty and your awesomeness. And 10 minutes a day is, if you can allow yourself to lean into forming that habit, I promise you, your life is going to get easier. You're going to get more flow. People are going to start to notice it. Your spouse and your kids are going to start to pick up as you find more peace within yourself. They're going to start to pick up more peace, and it's just going to spiral out. So I'll just tell you, your whole life is just going to get better.
I love that message, because I think sometimes with all the negative things we read in the news and everything, it can feel like we're not able to make a difference. But I love that, working on those 10 minutes for ourselves, we can actually really have a big positive impact on everyone else around us. So I love that. Thank you so much, Tara. I can't wait for this meditation. I'm excited.
I can't wait as well. It's going to be super fun. Catherine, thank you so, so much for having me on today. And thank you so, so much for listening to this episode. You can reach out to me anytime and let me know how this landed for you. If you have any more questions, I answer all the emails that I get. So I'd love to hear.
Well, thank you so much for being so generous with your time today, and for our next episode, and with the listeners.
Oh, you're 10,000% welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.
Hi friends, it's Catherine. I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Tara. Tara will be back on Monday to share a meditation just for us to help you start off your week on the right foot, mentally and spiritually, and hopefully you'll also get a little walk in after that to start the week off on the right foot physically as well. In the meantime, I invite you to check out some links that are in the show notes for today's episode. Tara has shared a free gift, a daily alignment meditation, 10 minutes a day that will change your life, and another free gift, an inner peace toolkit, inner peace straight to your inbox. Check that out in the show notes. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. There will not be a new episode tomorrow or Sunday, but if you subscribe to the podcast, you will get that next episode with Tara, that meditation, on Monday. Hope you will leave us a rating and review on iTunes and or Stitcher to make my day. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.